This extra large canister can hold 2000 resources. So here's the challenge for this video. I have to fill all of this up with scrap and I have to do it automatically. That means we need some scrap farms. Here's the first one. Once I send this rail car, the farm will be on and we will be getting scrap in here. And while this farm is generating scrap, I will be building yet another one just to make things faster. So let's start building the second one and then I'll show you how both of these work. We'll use rail stations. That's the easiest way to transport resources from far away. We need to go into the caves because we are using aluminum for this one. So here we go. We've got an aluminum node right here. So I'll throw this next station over on this side. That should be good. We can always just move it afterwards. And then we need to connect these with rails, which should also be pretty easy. It's all connected, so there we have it. Now we need a rail car, and I think I've got one prepared right here. This is just like the rail car from the other scrap farm. We've got a rail car with a storage on it, and we've got a storage sensor that's set to full or empty, so that's pretty easy. This station will be set to unload stopped cars, and then the one down there will be set to load stopped cars. Now all we need is an auto extractor. I'll actually place two auto extractors on this second farm. The first one only has one, but I want this other farm to be even faster. I'll just add some medium storage in here, and by the way, I am timing this whole thing. I've got a timer going from the second I started the first farm, just to see how long it would take to fill this thing up. This train station down here should be set to load stopped cars, and then I've also got some medium storages for this one as well. Great, now it's time to unpack these auto extractors, and then we can place a portable smelting furnace on each of them. Make sure they are turned on. We don't have any power yet, but we'll connect them in just a second. Let me just turn this one around. There we go. And we'll have them connected to each other like that. Now I have to go back up and get some auto arms for this setup. I think I can move this a little bit closer, something like that. And now we should unpack all of these. Okay, so there we go. I'll also place aluminum in the selector slots of these auto arms because we don't want them to grab any laterite. And now let's see if one of these reaches all the way. Yeah, it does. So that's good. We'll just get everything connected, and once we connect it to power up top, we'll have all the power we need down here. And then we'll make sure that everything can reach and grab what it needs to. But yeah, this will basically get laterite. It will get smelted here on the top into aluminum. These auto arms will grab the aluminum, put it here, then this one will grab it and put it in the train station. This is set to load stopped cars, so when the cart is down here, it will load it. And then the storage sensor on the cart will ensure that once it's full, it will get activated and it will go to the top. Then once it gets to the top, that train station is set to unload stopped cars, so it will unload all of it. And then again, because of the storage sensor, once it's completely empty, it will go back down. Now it's time to set up the part from above. So I'll just go ahead and flatten this thing out. And actually we should turn this around. It's just easier that way, because this way we'll be able to grab the resources from here and feed them in this direction. So we'll have a platform here and then auto arms feeding the aluminum into this platform. And then on the platform we'll have two small printers. These should both be set to rail junction bundles and on repeat. And then we'll get another auto arm to grab all of the rail junctions. I actually put it to the side here because we're gonna have a big platform on this side. Now it's time to unpack the big platform with the extra large shredder on top of it. Turn it around and there we go. This auto arm should be able to feed all of these rail junctions in there. We'll get everything connected as well. And now we'll need just another auto arm. And this last auto arm will get all of the scrap into the platform with the canister. So it should be something like that. And now we should have everything connected to power as well. Before I can turn these auto arms on, I have to get items in their selector slots. Otherwise, they will just grab random stuff and we don't want that. I also need to get some organic into these slots just to make sure that scrap doesn't go there. But before I do that, I think it's time to start this whole thing. So there we go. And we also need to turn on the auto extractors because we didn't do that yet. We didn't have any power up until now. So here we go, let's just turn them both on. I'm gonna stand here and make sure that everything works normally. I'll wait until they smelt some aluminum to place it in these selector slots and this one here. And then I'll also watch as these get loaded into the rail car just to make sure everything works nicely. We are now smelting the laterite and we'll have aluminum in just a second. There we go. And we can now start these up. Now I'm gonna wait for another round of aluminum so that I can place some over here, and then we'll need stuff for the auto arms up top as well. But once that's done, we've got 2 scrap farms going on at the same time, and that should get us all of the scrap to fill up the canister. It's been 10 minutes since I started the timer. We still don't have any scrap, but that's just because it's a slow start for these farms. You need to fill up the whole cart. Then when the cart comes around for the second time, it will take less time to fill it because the auto extractors were working even while the cart was above. So the first batch takes a little bit longer, but then it's all right. Okay, and this is loading it, so I think everything works. I'll go check on the other farm as well, and I'll also show you how that looks like. We might also want to get some more power, so I'll think about that. But quickly before I show you this other farm, make sure to like the video if you enjoy it. That also helps me a lot, so thank you for doing that. Now let's see what this farm is doing. Okay, this is moving along nicely. I think it's almost done here. Now this farm only has 1 auto extractor, so the other one should be twice as fast. But we only need 2 more aluminum and this cart is done. And it should go up top, and that's great because we can also see how everything gets crafted and shredded into scrap. Alright, we've got 1, and now all we need is another aluminum, and that's it. So I'll go up top and I'll wait for the car there. So here it is, and it's unloading. That's nice. And now we should start crafting stuff. Alright, let's follow it and see that everything works as intended. Okay, so we are shredding things. We might want to get another auto arm here to double it, but I mean, we are not losing time because the auto extractors are still working down there, and they have 2 medium storages they can fill with aluminum before the cart arrives. But here we've got the scrap, and we have started to fill this thing up. We've got 1 scrap out of 2000, so just 1999 to go. We've got our first scrap here in less than 20 minutes, and now we should start to go even faster. But I will have to steal 1 scrap because I need it in the selector slot of this auto arm right here. Then I'll steal some other items from here to set in these selector slots, and then we'll have the second farm going as well. So I stole a rail junction and an aluminum as well. We've got the aluminum right here, we can turn that on, and then the rail junction on this side. So there we go. Now I'm at the other farm, the one with the 2 auto extractors, just checking on it, and yeah, this one definitely works a little bit faster. So I'll just head to the top and I'll watch as the canister gets full. It's been 20 minutes now, and it seems like we are getting scrap at a pretty nice pace. Once we've got the second farm shredding as well, we'll get twice the amount of scrap in here. And I'm not really sure what to expect. I'm thinking 1 or 2 hours should be enough to fill this whole thing, but we'll see. So while this is working, I'll craft another XL canister off camera, because once this is full, we'll want another one. These farms are gonna get us a ton of scrap, and who knows, we might need it for some future videos. But stay tuned because I'm gonna show you as this gets filled, and we'll see how much time it took in the end. Just a quick update here, I've added some more power to the base. We've got a ton more wind turbines, and I've also added some batteries just now. That's because it's been about 3 hours now, and we only have 600 scrap. So this was going pretty slow. Whenever the wind wasn't blowing, we were getting like no power, because we only have wind and these RTGs here, so that's 16 units per second. That means whenever the wind wasn't blowing, we weren't really moving. So that's why it took so long to get 600 scrap. But now with all of this extra power, like everything you see here and the batteries and all of that, I'm hoping this will pick up, because at this pace it would take something around 10 hours if we were moving at the same pace, maybe even more. So I'm thinking we can get 1400 in the next 3 hours. That's more than double what we got in the first 3 hours these farms were on. But yeah, I just wanted to give you that quick update. I'll come back in a couple seconds to show you once this is completed. It's finally done. I have to admit, this took way longer than I was expecting. I also added all of this wind power and the batteries, but this took closer to 10 hours, and I also had to readjust the auto extractors a bit. But it was worth it. We now have 2000 scrap that we can use in a future video, and I'll go ahead and replace this extra large canister with another one so that we can get even more scrap. I've been using aluminum scrap farms in this video, but I've got the perfect scrap farm if you want to get a ton of scrap fast in your base. I just didn't want to spend all the resources to build it here. I've already built it in another save. I'm talking about an Astroneer scrap farm. It's the biggest I've ever built, so go watch that next, and I'll see you there. Cheers, Astroneers!